The FCS playoffs are here, and round one is coming to you this Saturday, and we are here to break down every single game in the playoffs of round one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SlasherU. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and today we're going to break down Idaho taking on Southeastern Louisiana. This is a game that really, it could, in my mind, I think it could go either way. Steve, I know you're going to break this one down pretty much in depth, but we have Idaho sitting at 7-4 and Southeast Louisiana 8-3. Now, those records could really be, you could look at them a lot differently. Obviously, one in the Big Sky, one in the Southland Conference. But I know we have seen some pretty interesting things from Idaho and the Vandals this year.
Yeah, and they've gotten better every week. That's what you want to see in any football team. But this is a big deal for Idaho. This is their first FCS playoff bid since 1995. Again, they were up in the FBS level for a long time. When they made the decision to drop down to the FCS again, they had some struggles. They had some recruitment issues. They had some really, really tough times, and certainly the seniors on this Vandals team, they could have left through the transfer portal. I mean, there's some really talented seniors on this team. They wanted to see this through. They really, really believed it, and they have a first-year coach that said, "Oh no, we're not going to be bringing all these people in. You're our team. You're the team that can get us, to the FCS playoffs." And I don't think they had any delusions that they would win the Big Sky. But again, they beat Montana. They've had some really, really good wins in the Big Sky, and their losses have been, for the most part, very competitive. So it's almost a fairy tale story for Idaho this year. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a happily ever after in this game. I mean, Southeast Louisiana, okay, the Southland's not a power conference, if you will, but they're a solid offensive team. They're in the top 25 as far as total offense.
Mm-hmm.
They're among the leaders in FCS in time of possession. And when you're getting into a playoff game, if you have a team that is that good at time of possession, not that Idaho falters at that end, but they're not a top 25 time of possession team. So I think that's going to make a difference. I mean, Southeast Louisiana, they average about 430 yards a game. You're not going to see that kind of offensive total against Idaho. But again, because they can grind it out and they can control the clock, I think it's going to be enough for them to hold off Idaho. It's going to be, I didn't see the over-under this one, but I would imagine that if the over-under is 40, I would probably go the under, despite the fact that Southeast Louisiana does have the ability to put up points in bunches. I think it's one of the more evenly matched first round games that we've seen. Some of them I didn't quite understand, and it's also the only game where it's really not a regional matchup. Idaho was traveling the furthest of any of the teams in the first round, but again, that's a trade-off. Idaho. You would think that Idaho, because they beat Montana, would have gotten the home game rather than Montana. But again, that really speaks to how the committee looks at it. They break it down more analytically and more statistically than coaches' opinions do as far as when they set up the playoff bracket. So Idaho kind of lost out on that, even though they beat Montana. They're having to go on the road and travel furthest than any of the first round teams. But I'm going with Southeast Louisiana on this one. This is the only game I said I think I'm going to go chalk with all the home teams here that we're going to talk about today. But I can see Idaho finding a way to win this one, especially if it's really low scoring. I can see them forcing a late turnover and be able to pull out. But I'm going to go with Southeast Louisiana here. I think that they're underrated because of the conference they play in, but they're a fine offensive football team, and I think they're going to keep the ball out of Idaho's hands and win this football game.
I love when we split. I'm taking Idaho. I'm taking the Vandals to win this game. This is a team that only lost by a touchdown to Washington State, Pac-12 team that has had a pretty decent season and only lost by a field goal to Sacramento State, a team who we're going to see next week in the playoffs. They have one of the
Mhm.
buys. I think Idaho's a great team, and they broke my heart beating Montana in the middle of the season when I was really high on this Montana squad. I've seen Idaho play probably more than any other FCS school so far this season, and I've liked what I've seen. So I'm going to take Idaho. I think they have a really good shot at taking this one. Let us know your thoughts. This game's on Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Plus. Make sure you tune in. FCS playoffs, round 1. Let us know your thoughts on the score prediction below. Who do you think will win this game, Idaho or Southeastern Louisiana? While you're there, hit like and subscribe. And thank you, as always, for watching Slasher U.